my name is Pragna Yanduri. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Mumbai. I appeared for the LSAT India exam in July of 2020. I secured a 97.17 percentile and scored 475 out of 480 marks. So today in this video, I will be sharing the prep strategy that I used to ace this exam. Consistency is the key to success. I wrote over 30 mocks and I probably wouldn't have gotten this percentile if I wasn't consistent throughout my preparation. Initially, you might not score well on your mock exams, but don't feel dejected. The purpose of these few mocks is to understand the basic concepts of these questions, have the patience to sit through 2 hours and 20 minutes of the exam, and also understand and gauge your strengths and weaknesses so that you can accordingly allot time for each section for your preparation. Some days you might feel exhausted and not be in the mood to write the exam. I completely understand. So I recommend you to take a break from time to time. Don't force yourself to write the exam because this is a very attention demanding exam. So please don't burn yourself out because you need a sharp and alert mind to ace this exam. I've also noticed that there's this stereotype in society that internet and phones harm a child's education. I don't think that's completely true. For instance, in my case, I mainly depended upon these online resources like mocks and YouTube videos for my preparation. I think whether or not internet and phones will harm or benefit your education really depends on the student's willpower and determination to score well. I do not believe in blanket uninstallation of entertainment apps followed by a rebound installation of them for binge watching and wasting time. I think you should allot some time for leisure activities so you don't let these internet or Instagram app affect your study time. I aim to be at a place where if I'm watching an educational video and an entertainment video pops up under the recommendations on YouTube, I should not be tempted to switch over to the entertainment video. I believe that this should be the primary goal of every student. In a nutshell, I think timed preparedness, intermittent enjoyment, and moderate use of technology helped me achieve my feat. The purpose of this video is not to dictate a preparation strategy upon you, but to guide you through your insecurities and doubts so you can develop your optimal preparation strategy that suits you the best. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video to be informative and helpful. All the best on your exam. So now I will talk about my general prep strategy that I used to ace this exam. I started my preparation in May and I think 2 months is enough preparation time for this exam. I made a timetable where I divided 10 hours for studying law exams like GLAT or LSAT, 6 hours for my hobbies and leisure activities, and 8 hours for sleep. I think making a timetable is really important so you can organize what materials you want to study at what time and you can stay on track and still have fun. So for my prep, I mainly used online mocks because you don't have to memorize anything for this exam. The only practice that you can have is writing multiple mocks. So there are 4 to 5 mocks on the Discover Law website, which is LSAT's official website. And after doing those mocks, I felt like those weren't enough for me and I needed more practice. So I know this website called Kaplan LSAT US mocks. So this website has LSAT US mock exams, but LSAT US and LSAT India are quite similar. LSAT US is even slightly tougher, so I think it's perfect for practicing. So I also wrote over 30 LSAT US mocks for my preparation. Now I will talk about my specific prep strategy for each section. So first, the reading comprehension section. This section was the easiest for me because I think this section only requires you to have basic English skills. So this might be one of the easiest sections for everyone. So in this section you have 4 passages and I think around 5 to 6 questions per passage. I would recommend you guys to focus on the questions first and read through the questions before reading the passage so you know what exactly you're looking for. The passages generally talk about subjects relating to science, literature, and history. It's not important to understand and comprehend the technical terms in the passage, but instead focus on the connotations of the words, the main point and conclusion, the various point of views mentioned in the passage. The questions are usually going to be asking you about those things. I also spent around 8.5 minutes on each passage, around 2 minutes reading the passage and the rest answering the questions. I would advise the kids to read editorials and journals or even newspaper that you find in your house so that you increase your reading pace and also come across new words and you can learn new definitions. It's important to learn these new definitions because in these passages you come across difficult terms and the questions generally ask you the connotations and the meaning of that word in this particular context. So it's really important that you have a good vocabulary. Now let's talk about the logical reasoning sections. In the LSAT India exam, there are 2 logical reasoning sections and you get 35 minutes again to solve each section. I don't think there's any difference between the 2 sections. They both assess your reasoning skills. I think at first the logical reasoning section was quite tough for me because the questions are very lengthy and the answer options are quite tricky as well. It was hard for me to manage time at first, so I would really recommend you guys to spend only 1 or 1.5 minutes on each question. So at the end you have time to go back to the questions and check if your answers are right. You might be easily swayed by the answer options because all of them might seem right at first glance. For example, in the assumption-based questions, they ask you which answer choice is the assumption that makes the argument stand true. When you come across questions like these, pick an option that you think is right and think in a retrospective manner whether the option you choose makes sure that the argument in the question stands true or not. If the assumption that you chose makes the argument false or doesn't affect the argument at all, then that's most likely the wrong option. So if you think critically and stay within the context of the question, then you will be easily able to ace this exam. I would also recommend you to write online mocks for this section so you can manage your time. Now let's talk about the analytical reasoning section. This section was initially the toughest section for me. I got many wrong answers in this section, but I also think that this is the easiest section to improve on. As much as you require a good skill to dissect these questions, I think a good paperwork will give you an edge over other students. So these questions have multiple subsets of questions, so it can get quite confusing and tricky to memorize all of these details and facts. So I recommend to you that while you're reading these questions, jot down the important facts and statements in an abbreviated manner. There are numerous jumbled details and variables in these questions, so by having a good paperwork, you will have neat and organized setups to answer the questions. This will save you a lot of time because your paperwork will be concise and you don't have to memorize each and every single word mentioned in the statements or facts. This will save you a lot of time and give you an advantage over other students. I spent around 8 minutes on each scenario, and time management is very critical for this section in particular. You can lose numerous points if you run out of time.